In a village surrounded by tall mountains on one side and a dark, endless forest on the other, lived a teenage boy named Hassanak. The village was peaceful, but the people lived in fear of a dragon that lived deep inside the forest. Every month, the villagers had to give the dragon 2 sheep or 1 cow, or else the dragon would come and burn the village down. Hassanak was tired of living in fear. He hated to see his neighbors lose their animals to the dragon. One day, he decided to do something that no one else had dared to do. He would go in the forest and kill the dragon. Early one morning, before anyone else was awake, Hassanak took his father's old sword and walked into the dark forest. The trees were tall and thick, blocking out the sunlight. The deeper he went, the darker and scarier it became. But Hassanak was determined. After a long walk, Hassanak found a big, dark cave. He knew this must be the dragon's home. But when he looked inside, the dragon was not there. Hassanak decided to hide and wait. He found a big rock near the entrance and crouched behind it, waiting quietly. As the day turned into night, Hassanak heard a loud, rumbling sound. The ground shook as the dragon approached. But when Hassanak peeked out, he couldn't believe his eyes. There was not 1, but 7 dragons coming toward the cave. Hassanak felt scared. How could he fight 7 dragons? But then he noticed something strange. The 7 dragons moved together, and then he realized that it was actually 1 dragon with 7 heads. Hassanak took a deep breath. He remembered a story that his grandmother had told him about a creature with many heads that had a special heart hidden outside its body. If he could find and destroy the dragon's heart, he might be able to defeat it. When the dragon finally fell asleep, Hassanak quietly sneaked into the cave. The cave was dark and smelled bad, but Hassanak kept going, and he found a small glowing jar hidden in a corner. Inside the jar was a beating heart. This was the dragon's heart. With all his strength, Hassanak smashed the jar with his sword. The heart fell to the ground, still beating. Hassanak quickly stabbed the heart with his sword. Suddenly, the dragon roared in pain. Its 7 heads thrashed around, but it couldn't get up. The cave shook, and the dragon let out one last roar before it turned into black smoke and disappeared. Hassanak was tired, but he knew he had won. The dragon was dead, and the village was safe. When he returned home, the villagers were amazed. They celebrated Hassanak as a hero. From that day on, the village no longer lived in fear, and the dark forest became a place where Hassanak's bravery would always be remembered.